Imagine waking up one morning to find that your words, your thoughts, and your opinions are no longer your own. A chilling reality is unfolding before our eyes, and it's time we take notice. What's up, everyone? I'm Gino DiCaprio, and as always, welcome to my page. Today, we're going to explore a topic that's both alarming and essential: the erosion of freedom of speech and the rise of censorship. Tell me if this sounds familiar. It's alarming to witness the erosion of freedom of speech and the rise of censorship, even in seemingly democratic societies. A striking example is J.D. Vance's experience in Munich, Germany, where his speech sparked controversy. A German counselor took issue with his remarks, and subsequently, videos emerged showing authorities visiting people's homes, arresting them, and confiscating their computers for posting content deemed unacceptable on Facebook. This blatant suppression of free speech is a chilling reminder of the dangers of censorship. It's a trend that's increasingly prevalent, even in countries like Germany, which has a complex history of censorship. The notion that individuals can be arrested and persecuted for expressing their opinions is antithetical to the principles of democracy and freedom. The quote from Alexander Trachtenberg, a member of the CPUSA's Central Control Committee at the Communist Party's National Convention, Madison Square Garden, 1944, comes to mind. When we get ready to take the United States, we will not take it under the label of communism. We will not take it under the label of socialism. These labels are unpleasant to the American people and have been smeared too much. We will take the United States under the labels we have made very lovable. We will take it under liberalism, under progressivism, under democracy. But take it we will. This statement, revealed by Dr. Bella Dodd, a former Communist Party member, highlights the insidious nature of communist ideology and its ability to infiltrate and manipulate societies under the guise of appealing labels. The source for this quote is Dr. Bella Dodd, who was a union activist and member of the U.S. Communist Party from 1932 to 1949, apparently getting pretty high up into the National Committee until 1949, when she was kicked out during an internal purge of the party. Specifically, this quote seems to come from either her book School of Darkness or her testimony at the House Un-American Committee, HUAC. Dr. Dodd also shared other insightful quotes, including, "I was told by Gil Green, chairman of the party in New York State, that if ever communism came to America, it would not come under the socialist label or the communist label, but it would come under a label palatable to the American people. Communism is like a religion. President Eisenhower said that the other day, but it is a religion without a God. If you believe strongly in communism, it is your duty to bring it into every phase of your life. Communism is a way of life, and it is almost like a religion. It becomes a part of you. It affects your entire thinking. It affects your attitude toward your students, toward your government, affects your attitude toward things that are happening day by day. Most communist college professors begin by being very much interested in their students, and if they have a communist philosophy, they pass it on. There are two phases of life that communists take over. One is control over money, and two is control over words, language. They are fast taking over all the nice words, all the nice language of the Christian world, and they are taking them to themselves and giving them new connotation, so that when they talk to the world, they are saying one thing which is understood by their followers, but to our ears, it sounds like the things which we should be saying. As we witness the erosion of our fundamental rights, it's essential to recognize the value of freedom of speech and the dangers of censorship. We must remain vigilant and defend our right to express ourselves, lest we succumb to the forces of oppression and manipulation. The Communist Party in the United States realized that their overt presence was not yielding the desired results. They understood that to truly infiltrate and influence American society, they needed to blend in, to become part of the fabric of the country's political landscape. And so, they made a strategic decision to disappear as a distinct entity, instead choosing to infiltrate and influence the liberal and democratic parties. By joining these parties, communist ideologues could advance their agenda without being overtly identified as communists. This tactic, known as entryism, allowed them to shape policy, influence decision makers, and slowly but surely shift the party's stances leftward. The ultimate goal was to create a socialist or communist state, not through violent revolution, but through gradual, incremental change. This infiltration has been remarkably successful, with many liberal and democratic politicians now espousing policies that were once considered radical or fringe. The Communist Party's disappearance as a distinct entity has been a clever ruse, allowing them to exert influence without being detected. It's essential that we recognize this strategy and remain vigilant, lest we succumb to the forces of oppression and manipulation. As we witness the erosion of our fundamental rights, it's essential to recognize the value of freedom of speech and the dangers of censorship. We must remain vigilant and defend our right to express ourselves, lest we succumb to the forces of oppression and manipulation. So I ask you, what can you or we do to prevent the erosion of our freedom and ensure that our voices are heard?